chances are you will fail. And I'm specifically talking about in terms of dating, in terms of pickup. Most of you watching this will end up not getting the results, the success that you want. That is the majority. That is the default. And that isn't just society in general. That's even the people who are trying to improve this area of their lives. That's even the people who are watching videos like this. It's even people who think, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get better at pickup. It's even them. Because the idea that you have a goal, that you want to achieve something, that you want a better dating life, that you want to get out of scarcity and into abundance is not enough. And the truth is, most people who have that idea in their mind and who consume content, read books, most of them are barely going to even scratch the surface. They're barely even going to do 1%. Take any action at all, get any results at all. They're just going to endlessly procrastinate, make excuses. And, when you think of self-improvement, the more common areas are making more money, getting into better shape. The same is true with that, right? Most people who want to get in better shape fail. They end up trying again and again and never get results. Most people who want to make more money, who want to start a business, who want whatever, fail. They might watch 1,000 videos about how to make more money, and yet they still end up poor. That's the default, and that is true with anything where you have a goal and you want to improve yourself. And it's very important to be aware of that and to be aware of the gravity of that. Now, with health, it means, ending up obese and ending up like hating, feeling like Jabba the Hutt and, dying of a heart attack in your 40s, 50s, whatever. That's what it means in that area. With money, it's very obvious why not having enough money is going to be detrimental to your life. With dating, it's less obvious, and that's part of the reason that people take it even less seriously than these other things, that they procrastinate more and make more excuses. Because when it comes to dating, well, how do you quantify that? How do you make that something that's measurable, right? The number of women you slept with, well, that's one way, but that's kind of limiting. The reality is, if you are in scarcity, so if you're someone who just relies on luck and hopes something happens and it's inconsistent and there's no guarantees, you're not in control, what will most likely happen is one of two things. One is you end up alone. You end up with no women at all, no dates at all. Number two, which is more common, is that you settle for a woman you don't even like that much because you're so desperate. And I've seen this happen with so many friends. You probably have seen this happen with your friends, maybe even your fucking parents. It's possible one of them, you're like, whether it's your father or your mother, one of them settled really hard and didn't even like the other one, but just married because it was easy. So the consequence for not learning game, which sounds like this perverted, just trying to get laid as much as possible. Really, the consequence, if you think about it, is the quality of your marriage. It's the quality of your family, right? And it's not just about looks. That's a factor, but I don't even think that's the main factor. It's if you are in scarcity and you end up getting married, sure, she's not going to be the most attractive woman, but more importantly, it's not going to be someone that you chose based on the criteria of what you want in a long-term partner, right? It's going to be someone that probably does nag you, probably treats you like shit, probably has a bunch of negative mindsets, and it's just not even fun to be with. And that you have a toxic relationship that you tolerate because you're in scarcity, and if you don't stick with her, you have no other options. And that is becoming more and more the default today. And the chances are that's going to happen to you. That's the most likely outcome. And so you can decide that you're just going to give up on women, which Hey, that's an option, right? You could just decide I'm going to have no women in my life and I'm just going to be alone. And if that seems like a satisfying life to you, you could do that. Or you can decide that, all right, I know that even most people who are watching this, who are agreeing with what he's saying right now, even most of those guys are not going to do anything about this. They're not going to take massive action. They're not going to make a real change. They'll dabble, give up, dabble, give up, dabble, give up, and then settle for a three. Settle for someone they don't even like. That's the default path, and that's most people. If you can accept that, then you're someone who has a chance. Then you might be the exception. If you can get afraid of that, if that stresses you out, it makes you uncomfortable, like, fuck, chances are I'm going to fail, then you might be one of the few that actually succeeds. You know, I had a friend who had this obsession with telling themselves, I'm getting better. And this definitely was about dating, but it was about everything. I'm getting better. Oh, I've lost a lot of weight. Oh, did you lost weight, so you have a scale? Oh no, I can just tell. I can just tell I've lost weight. And to me, it seems pretty obvious that this person has gained weight. Oh, my game's getting better. Bro, you're in a relationship with a girl who's not even attractive. How is your game better? Like, you don't even like her. What are you telling yourself? But he had to constantly tell himself he's improving, he's making progress, he's doing better. And that is the delusion that, oh, I'm where I am now because of all the things that happened, and that's no, you are where you are now. If you're not happy with it, it's because you fucked up. And admitting that is okay, because once you admit it, you can change. Once you admit that you're not happy with your current situation, you can change. You have to be okay with being pissed off with yourself, with your situation, with your results. And if you can't do that, you will end up being one of the 95% of guys who fail. Not just at dating, not just at pickup, but in general. The key to making change is to get emotional leverage, is to get a sense of urgency, is to realize that you've been messing up and you can't afford to keep messing up, because then you'll end up being one of the vast majority of other guys who fail. And that is very likely and a very real possibility if you don't do something about that drastically. And so I know this video is, may seem a little bit negative. It's not a positive, inspiring message on the surface, but I think it's actually one of the most positive messages if you really dig under the surface about what I'm really talking about, what it really means. But you have to be willing to look at your situation, get pissed off with your situation, and realize that if you're not pissed off, if you're not unwilling to accept the direction you're going in, then it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And if you hear this and think, no, that's not going to be me, no matter what, that is not going to be me, I'm not going to go down that path, then the easiest way to make sure that you don't put this off for years, that you don't procrastinate, that you don't just settle, is to get real leverage and accountability. Is to get in-person coaching where you no longer have an option to just dabble, to just make excuses, to do one approach every month. That will no longer be an option. You can click the link below to schedule a free call with me to learn more about my in-person coaching. But whether or not you do that, what I really want you to focus on is the reality that the default is failure. The default is settling. The default is shit. And you're probably on that path that's probably going to be you, and that should scare you. That should piss you off, and if it does, you can change that.